Rob, can you do me a favor and pull up the clip, if you have it, with Bill Maher, with Mark Cuban, and with, what's his name? Joe Scarborough. It's actually very interesting how Bill Maher positions this. Go ahead, Rob.
Commissioner Carol Hart saying, we're dealing with a company, the head of which has aggressively injected himself into the presidential race and made it clear what his point of view is. Yes, because he lives in America, and he can do that. It has nothing to do with this. And, the right thinks that the left is in a very different place with free speech than they have been before, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This is arrogant. You don't punish somebody. It would be like if we stopped Henry Ford from making the cars because we didn't like what
but can you take one anecdotal example? One idiot, right? Truly an idiot to stop.
This is not an idiot. This is someone with power.
An idiot with power is not unusual.
Okay, but that's
Those glasses are the worst.
Having power matters.
I thought he was joking with those.
Me too.
Let's talk about why. We've talked about entrepreneurs and what makes America great. You know what makes our economy, what sustains our economy? The rule of law.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe is at stake at this election. We want a fair and equitable approach to the rule of law. The great thing about America is an idiot makes a decision like that based on politics instead of based on what their job is. You can take it to the courts. The courts will overturn it, and I guarantee you they're gonna have that decision overturned, and they're gonna have to find another reason, a better reason, a more relevant reason to deny.
And they'll learn a harder lesson. He'll just
Joker.
move more of his production and more of his launches somewhere else, to Florida or to Texas, wherever. I mean, they'll learn the hard way.
But it's just the attitude.
He's got to be
that
kidding.
I find scary. That they're far too willing to stifle freedoms, including speech, for the sake of safety or misinformation, sometimes which is coming from everybody. It's, no one has a monopoly on it.
Joe Scarborough.
Or just power.
You're saying nobody
it's just
has
power.
a monopoly on it. Come on.
Oh, look at the scumbag. Look.
Relativism right there.
I said nobody has a monopoly.
You said nobody has a monopoly on it, but that's like saying nobody has a monopoly on being a billionaire. He's got that monopoly up here. I mean, he's got more money than us. A lot more money than us. So
Mark didn't like that. Look at that.
You don't get it?
I don't know what point you're making.
You're saying it's
And they clap for no reason.
Well,
there is no doubt.
There's no misinformation.
There's some disinformation from the left, but comparing it to what Donald Trump spews out
Are you
every
kidding
day,
me?
I
every
agree.
week, comparing it to what Elon Musk is spewing out, unfortunately, on X, there's
Call him out,
you sound
Bill.
like Brett Stevens
I
right now,
don't.
with all due respect. It's a joke. That's a real time.
You sound like him, who looks like Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, there you go. Finally trying to be a comedian off the cuff.
But you understand what I'm saying?
I've never argued with that. I've never.
So call him out, Bill. Bill could have had him right there.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's all good because you're right. Go ahead, Tom.
So you listen to Joe Scarborough very, very, very carefully. He talks about the strength of the economy is the rule of law. No, it's not. It's entrepreneurs that have built things and have built new companies and new products and new parts of the entire economy and employed people and has led to the growth. The power of this is the rule of law. That is a Democrat talking the code language of control. He calls it the rule of law. He's talking about controlling the billionaire. He's talking about controlling the entrepreneur. He's talking about all the things in there that would control it. And the irony of it is he is saying that and speaking in code. And I don't even know if he caught himself and realized it because it's so inbred in Scarborough now. He was saying it in response to Bill Maher having a moment of lucidity and saying what he said about, and they're stepping on free speech, and they're not wrong. And he's talking about that as an impugn on the economy and the people itself. And then Scarborough starts talking about basically code language for control of entrepreneurs. That's what he's talking about when he talks about rule of law. He's talking about regulation. He's talking about doing it his way. You know, he is completely gone, completely gone. I don't even think he could get back into politics. I don't even think there's a votable platform in there.
Yeah.
Well, there's
left or right.
There's no country like America that promotes entrepreneurship and free market capitalism. It just doesn't exist anywhere in the world. But if you were going to tell me 10 years ago that on a panel, a Republican congressman named Joe Scarborough, a billionaire named Mark Cuban, and a liberal advocate named Bill Maher and that the most conservative person on the panel would be Bill Maher, I would punch myself in the face. Or I'd let Chell punch Vinny or Tom in the face.
Thank you, Adam.
But that's how weird things have basically twisted, is that Bill Maher, who's a proud liberal, who basically has no love for the woke left, is basically calling out Mark Cuban and Joe Scarborough to their face, calling Mark Cuban a Rachel Maddow lookalike. We're living in a clown world right now, and we're just trying to make sense of it. And this election comes down to basically one thing. Who's the least crazy? And everyone looked at Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020 like, that mother sucker is crazy. And then the last 4 years of this woke mob mentality, everyone's like, I don't care how crazy Trump is. It ain't crazy as is he, she, they, them woke mentality. And that's where we're at in this election.
I disagree that it's coming down to who's the less crazy. I think it's coming down to right now is who lied to us for all these 8 years, and it's the left. And to have Joe Scarborough, one of the most shill left hatchet men, sit up there and say disinformation, misinformation, it doesn't, yeah, we do it, but it doesn't compare to Donald Trump. That is all that show Morning Joe does, is just lie to the American people. That's all. Their mission is anti-Trump, anti-America, and for him to sit up there dressed like the Joker next to... By the way, can you imagine a road trip with those three? I would kill myself in the first 5 minutes. For them to be out there spitting those lies, and all they do is always point, Chael, when it's them that they're the ones. Can you compare their lying to Donald? What's Donald Trump lying about? I'm just curious.
Joe Scarborough is the Adam Schiff of news, where he has stopped. He is now performing. This is a performance. I live enough people that like the performance, and they're going to vote me in, and I get the power. And this is just the deal. He doesn't even try to be accurate. And I'll just give you one example. And this isn't to dig into it, but come on, I mean, he came out and said that he'd never seen Joe Biden so spry. He'd never seen him so sharp. 3 days later, Joe Biden comes out and says, I'm not shy, I'm not sharp, but I can't do this anymore. Yeah. There's a congresswoman, and she got the job because her husband died, rest his soul. Her name is Debbie Dingell, and she means well. But Debbie Dingell is a Democrat, I believe, out of Michigan. She digs in every time. And she goes on the news, and she digs in, and she says, I'm not going along with this yet. They're going to have to convince me. Well, when they convince you, and it's 100% what Nancy Pelosi wanted, and Nancy wanted it 2 weeks before you, it just makes you stupid. Mm-hmm. If you got to the same conclusion that Nancy got to, and it took you 2 weeks longer, and I'm only sharing that with you because Donald Trump told us that Joe Biden was fried eggs 3 years ago. Joe Scarborough defended him 3 days before Joe came out and said, I can't do this anymore. I mean, it's a little bit of egg on the face, but much like Adam Schiff, boy, you just look in that camera, you move right through with it.
Let me tell you how the market works, man. I watched people in 2016 who took positions against Trump, and they look like idiots, and their show and popularity went down 50, 60, 70%. Because you could feel the rage and the anger, right? You saw MSNBC did that. You saw CNN did that. You saw what happened to a lot of these shows. They lost their shows. They're no longer on. People lost credit.
Fired, yeah.
It's like, man, I can't watch you anymore. You just don't make any sense to me right now, right? Now you're seeing 60 Minutes, 60 years. They've been, the place where you can at least go and see. And I don't know if you guys saw the FCC, is there, Rob, what story? There it is. FCC commissioner seeking investigation into allegations CBS distorted Harris's 60-minute interview.
Weird.
And by the way, 60 Minutes responded, Rob. If you can pull up the response that they gave, unless if it's in this story, if you can find that, they actually responded a week later. They respond, right? FCC Commissioner Nathan Wentz has urged FCC to investigate a complaint Center for American Rights alleging CBS distorted Vice President Kamala Harris's 60 Minutes interview. Symington explained the complaint raises a fully different set of issues regarding whether or not coverage was intentionally distorted, reporting that something was said in response to a question that literally was not. CAR's complaint focused on CBS airing two distinct. We've seen this clip, right?
Yeah,
the two different things. We've all seen it, right? I'm sure you've seen it. The audience has seen it many, many different times. But 60 Minutes responded. Do you have 60 Minutes as response, Rob?
I'm looking for that right now.
Yeah, if you just go on Google, you'll find it. It's like, well, one was an intro, one was the interview. In the intro, we used a different thing than we use in the other one. There it is. Deceitful editing comments on this is false. Former President Donald Trump is accusing 60 Minutes deceitful October 7th. Vice President Kamala Harris, that is false. CBS responded, just admitted doing exactly what he accused them, and then go a little lower to see if the response is there from 60 Minutes. Go a little lower, Rob, if you can, to see if you can. 60 Minutes. Let me see that one. That's the one. 60 Minutes gave an excerpt of our interview to Face the Nation that used a longer section of our answer that on 60 Minutes, same question, same answer, but a different portion of the response. When we edited any interview, whether a politician, an athlete, or a movie star, we strive to be clear, accurate, and on point. Sure. The portion of our answer on 60 Minutes was more succinct, which allows time for other subjects in a wide-ranging 21-minute long segment. Guess what? Typically, when you have 60 Minutes do an interview, you can go to, is it 60 Minutes Extra? Can you tap in 60 Minutes Extra?
And it plays the whole thing?
There is a subscription you can have where you go and you watch the entire thing that you pay for. This was the only one that didn't make it there.
Oh, weird. Isn't that weird?
Allegedly, based on the articles I'm reading.
Yeah.
So, and Trump is asking, why don't you release the entire full transcript? Put the whole thing out. They're not doing it. Why are you not doing it? So, again, this goes back to what you guys were talking about. Credibility for a Morning Joe. 3 days before he steps down, I'm going back to his points he's making. 3 days before stepping down, no, this guy's this guy's that, this guy's this. Oh, and Kamala Harris, I've seen Joe in the room negotiating, paying attention. And she said that a week before. The guy 60 Minutes asked her the question. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I've seen him do this. He is so this. He is so energized. He is so that. So, by the way,
all lies.
Again, Gallup comes out last week. Lowest trust ever in mainstream media in the history of mainstream media ever. Gallup just came out last week. There's a reason for it. A lot of people are going to go out of business. The super VIP one sold out. I think the one for lunch is sold out. There's a few of the VIP ones left, and everything else is moving. Here's the update. Who's going to be attending? You need to know. I already said to you, Michael Francis, Samuel Gravano, Brian Callen, Dave Smith. Here's some new ones. Little Pump reached out.
Yeah,
Little Pump. He's attending. You got Candace Owens is attending. You got, who else? Oh, you got, who did I miss? I just said another. Oh, Jorge Masvidal will be there with us. Jorge's going to be there, which is going to be exciting. And a bunch of other people will be there. So if you haven't yet picked up your ticket before this thing sells out, all the tiers, Rob, play this clip and then we'll get right into the podcast. Go ahead. I got a big announcement to make. Property I'm on right now. We've been working on buying this property for the last 3 years. It's one of its last kind in America. Why? It's on 11 acres. It's got 2 hangars. It's on an airport. Upgrades of $7 million made here. That's going to be the new headquarters of Valuetainment, David Consulting, the podcast, the whole nine. And what we wanted to do, we want to find a way to celebrate this as a new headquarters with inviting you to an event on November 5th, which is election night. A lot of different things people will be talking about, business owners. What's going to happen if it goes this way? What's going to happen if it goes that way? So imagine 2,000 people being here. Let me show you around. Some of you will have a private meeting with me. That's the elite. That's going to be a few of you. Some will get a private tour of the entire office from us. There's a hangar in the back. So you come up here. Imagine there's going to be a couple major tents, 40 feet by 100 feet, where some of the people that are buying general tickets will be there. But over here inside the hangar is where the podcast will be held. This entire thing will be open like it is right now. Inside of it, myself, the PBD podcast crew, some of the super VIPs will be invited to go upstairs in a section that we have that's got a bar, a restaurant, food, kitchen. You're eating, you're watching it from all the way up there while we're doing the podcast down here in the hangar. So imagine in this room, there's 1,000 people, right? While we're going through this whole thing. Conversation, it's going to be from 6 p.m. is when it starts. All the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? Maybe we'll go 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because a lot of things that's going to be going on. And by the way, do you know why we're not cutting this? We're on an airport. These are planes. We have to hear because right here is the airport. And FYI, messy place right there at that stadium right behind us. There's 5 ticket tiers that you can purchase. Each one's got more things to offer. But even locally, there's general tickets to buy for just $75. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your family, bring your friends. There's one caveat after you buy the ticket. When you buy the ticket and you come on November 5th, you have to wear Future Looks Bright gear. I'm talking Future Looks Bright hat, a shirt. Doesn't matter. You're going to have to show I got some kind of Future Looks Bright gear because we want everybody here to spread the message and the energy of optimism around the world, back to their states, wherever you're going to be. So November 5th, click on the link above or below, get registered. And if you're watching this saying, well, Pat, I like to travel private. Can I bring my private jet here? 5 of you guys will be. After you buy your ticket, then you can ask us. And that's only available to the tickets at the highest level possible to bring your jet and park it here. So having said that, get your tickets, and I cannot wait to see you November 5th, 6 p.m. at our new headquarters in Fort Lauderdale. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
That was a great pitch, PBD.
Right?
I got to tell you. One take?
Yes,
that was
one
fire.
take. One take. We're going to have a good time. Get your tickets. Go to 5990live.com, Rob, if you can put the link or the QR code. We are looking. By the way, if that night goes the way I think it may go, that night we may have a hard time pushing people out of this place.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
go home, buddy. Go home.
No, we want to stay.
It's going to be crazy, but we'll see what will take place.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.